start and everybody is there. We are in the chapter, the significance of sacrifice. Today is the essay on the Gita.
Yes.
Until you are back after 2 days, you're okay?
Yes. I've been in traveling, so thank you for recording, Rangada.
Yeah. No problem. So, good morning, everybody. Okay. Pallavi, Geetanjali, she has come today on the line. Kiran, Sonki, Archana, Shilpa, Tarika, and Yasmin. So today, who will read?
We have already read Rangada.
You're sure?
Yes. The one
Okay.
needful.
Okay, that's right. The one thing needful. So I'll read each sentence and then let's see what he's saying. Okay. So the one thing needful, the saving principles, constant in all these variations, okay, is to subordinate the lower activities, to diminish the control of desire and replace it by superior energy, to abandon the purely egoistic movement for the diviner delight which comes by sacrifice, by self-dedication, by self-mastery, by giving up of one's lower impulses to a greater and higher aim. So, a big sentence, many lines, and he's saying, you remember in the previous one he said that there are so many different types of yajnas. Okay, you can offer yajna to the gods. You can do self-control. You can control the senses, and you can do all sorts of other things also. You can. The description I think is given about 5 or 6 types of Brahmagnav. You remember that famous one? Brahmarpanam Brahma, okay. Haver Brahma, Haver Brahmagnav, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. There's so many different ways of doing the sacrifice. So now he's saying of all these variations of different types of sacrifice, the one thing needful, the saving principle constant in all these variations, common to all, is to subordinate the lower activities. Now, what is meant by subordinate the lower activities? The lower nature is your body, your mind, and your life. So, lower activities are the body is often indulging in wrong actions. Okay, the vital is always having desires and even wrong and thoughts. Okay, wrong emotions. So all these, the mind also very often has got wrong thoughts. So all these have to be subordinated. In other words, in the beginning you don't have any control, so you have to make them less and less and less. What does that imply? It implies that you must know what is right and wrong. Okay? Mostly those who live an ordinary life, they don't distinguish between what is right and wrong. Take the example of anger. Okay? It's always wrong, anger, because it disturbs you. But if you are not interested in yoga, you are always justifying your own anger. So these are the lower activities. Okay, so actions of the body which are wrong. Okay, then actions of the emotions which are wrong, and the thoughts also which are wrong. All these have to be made less first. How can you do that? There are so many ways again. But the main idea is here, the chapter is sacrifice. So if you constantly think of the divine and offer all your actions, your emotions, and your thoughts, then naturally the lower activities will be diminished. Okay, so and he's telling you also how to do it. To diminish the control of desire. Whenever a desire comes, if you control the desire, there are a lot of problems that arise. Okay, so the problem that arises, the vital is very strong. Okay, it's exactly very similar to if you have a wild animal and you sort of control it, it will start raising tantrums. It will raise hell for you. It will start shaking itself free. It wants to be free. So it will either go into a a tremendous revolt. Okay, your vital, and or it will become depressed. If it's a weak vital, it will get depressed, or it will revolt against you. And the revolt is terrible. You start getting angry with everybody without reason. Okay, you will start doing all kinds of things. I remember one case in the press. Okay, one girl, she was so frustrated. Okay, and wrong forces entered into her. She took a vase of water and threw it on mother's photo. So revolt, I am explaining to you what revolt can be. Okay, so this is what she did. So all this type of thing will come. So what is the solution? The solution is to distance yourself from look at the emotion or the thought that is coming or the desire and separate yourself from it. This is not my desire. It is coming from outside. This is not my desire. The slow withdrawal from identification with desires and wrong thoughts and wrong emotions slowly separates you, the Purusha and the Prakriti. That's one way. Okay. So I get back to what he's saying. Subordinate the lower activities to diminish the control of desire, to diminish the control of desire. Now look at that very careful. Okay? To diminish the control of desire, not diminish desire. Desire, in other words, when you are controlling the desire, you are diminishing the control of desire. You note carefully. Okay? When you are controlling desire, you are struggling. You are struggling with the desire. But slowly, if you separate yourself from it, the control also will slowly become less and less. But you are only watching. You are not disturbed. Even if the desire is very strong, you are not identified with it. You are coming out. So the control is diminished. Note that carefully. Very interesting. Okay? To diminish the control.
Ranganath,
Tell me.
one question. So this comes first with the knowledge, no? With the mind. Then only the vital and the body?
Yes, you have to use
Because we have to distinguish.
Yes, it's the Manomaya Purusha that controls the lower two. In the beginning, it is the Manomaya Purusha. It is the sattvic nature which controls the tamasic and the vital. That's right. And later on, that also has to be given up. So it is true. In the beginning, you have to use your will and your mind, the Manomaya Purusha. Of course, if you can do it with the psyche, that's the best. But that is not always available to everybody. No? So diminish and replace it by a superior energy to abandon the purely egoistic enjoyment of the diviner delight which comes by sacrifice, by self-dedication, by self-mastery, by giving up of one's lower impulses to a greater and higher aim. How do you do that? You do that by remembering. Okay? Suppose a desire comes into the mind. You think of mind, think of mother. Think of mother and tell her, mother, this desire is coming into me, I don't want it. Okay. And I am stepping back. So in the beginning it won't be possible. But slowly, that dedication, sacrifice, self-mastery. The moment you start remembering mother, she will come into the picture and she will start helping. So it's a long process. One should not get discouraged very easily, but it can be done. It takes a long time. Okay. So this is what he said. And the purely egoistic enjoyment of the diviner delight. That also is interesting. That also I think we'll discuss one day. If you are eating something which is very, very enjoyable to you, you are actually rolling your and enjoying the taste. Okay, you are identified with the taste, you are enjoying the taste. But if at that time when you are eating something which is very tasty to you, you start thinking of the mother. Okay, your mind is now concentrated elsewhere. It's not concentrated on the taste. Slowly, there will be a distance, and then you will see that you are not enjoying as you were enjoying earlier. Okay, the taste is there, but that identification with the taste is not there. This is also true. Even I think the other day we were discussing, na, if I am having dinner with a friend of mine and we are going on talking about something, maybe we are in the same business and we are discussing the problems of the business and we are eating something which is very tasty. But if I am talking to my friend, I will not be enjoying the food as much as I would have if I were alone. So transfer the attention of the mind elsewhere. And the best elsewhere is the mother, the divine. Okay? And even you can take that desire and throw it into a fire that you have built in your imagination and see the flames rising up. So there are so many different ways, and each one has to find his own way. So replace it by superior energy. That's not easy in the beginning. But the superior energy, you can take it as remembering mother. Okay? That's certainly a superior energy. To abandon the purely egoistic enjoyment. He's saying it in 4 or 5 words, but it takes a long time to do it. Okay? It's not as short as that. Okay? Egoistic enjoyment for that diviner delight which comes by sacrifice, by self-dedication, by self-mastery, by giving up of one's lower impulses to a greater and higher aim. So, in short, if you have to become conscious first of all these your egoistic enjoyments and also your lower impulses, the lower activities, and you must disapprove of them. 90% of the time, those who are not doing yoga don't disapprove of them at all. They find it very natural. Okay, he did this to me, so I got angry. He did this to me, so I will get revenge. All these are very natural and justifiable thoughts for the normal man, but not for one who is doing yoga.
But Ranganath, one question, please.
Yeah, tell me.
See, if you like or love a rose, so it is personal, it is egoistic. But if you are in a diviner delight, you don't find the beauty of the rose, or you, how do you?
The finer elements in you will grow, na? The finer elements in you will grow with your senses will become subtler. So naturally, beauty will open up of itself. Particularly if the psychic being is there, beauty, truth, love, all these things will increase, not decrease. I am talking of the lower faculties, okay? Enjoying with the egoistic enjoyment. That will diminish. But the subtler faculties in you will increase. You will start seeing beauty everywhere. You will start loving everything. Okay? You will have sympathy for all. That will increase. The bad will reduce and the good will increase. To put it in very blunt terms. Okay? So, that's it. Then Shendra has got he is putting in double quotes. He is translating. They who enjoy the nectar of immortality left over from the sacrifice attain to the eternal Brahman. It's actually a Pakka translation. Chapter 4, verse 31. Okay, so yeah. Yajja Shishta Amritam Bhujo, the one who is enjoying. Bhujo, Bhuja, one who is enjoying the Amritam left over from the sacrifice. Yajja Shishta Amritam, Shishta Amritam Bhujo. Yanti Brahma Sanatana. He goes to the Brahma. Sacrifice everything, and whatever is left over from the sacrifice, that you take. It's also, you can also think of it as physical image. If you are eating something and you are offering everything to the divine, and whatever is left of that, you take. You can even apply it in a very physical way also. Suppose you are eating dinner and a very poor man comes, you give away to him, to the divine in that poor man. And then what is left over, you eat. Okay. All this sort of thing will slowly reduce your desires, reduce your wrong thoughts, your emotions, and you will go Yante Brahma Sanatana. Those who do that will go to Brahma Sanatana. Okay, then the second part of that verse is Nayam Loke Asti Ajasya kuto anya kuru sattama. In other words, there is no place for in this world for those who are not doing yajna. Okay? So where is the question of any other world? So everybody, if you want to go to Brahman consciousness, you have to do yajna. And yajna we have discussed, it is not the physical sacrifice of pouring ghee and reciting mantras in a fire. It's not that. It is the self-offering. Those three words which Chandra has used, self-dedication, self-mastery, and sacrifice. That is what is meant by the sacrifice. Okay, so and Chandra is translated also again. Okay, sacrifice is the law of the world, and nothing can be gained without it. Neither mastery here, nor the possession of heavens beyond, nor the supreme possession of all. This world is not for him who doeth not sacrifice. How then any other world? In fact, in the synthesis he has described the whole process of sacrifice. Okay, it can be even those who are egoistic, they are forced to do sacrifice. Sacrifice, if you remember, in the Gita only, it is there in Excel on the Gita. In the Gita, the idea of sacrifice is that everything is connected. And whether you like it or not, you have to work in tandem. You have to work in connection with everybody else. So it's an exchange. It's a giving and a receiving. The more you give, the more you will receive. This is the idea of sacrifice. There is a connectedness. You can't think that you are alone in the world and you will do whatever you want. Not possible. And at the lowest level, it even amounts to such a simple thing. We have to think in that way. Even such a simple thing as going to a shop, okay, and buying whatever you want, either a watch or vegetables. You have to give money to get the vegetables. There's always a giving and a receiving. If you only receive and not give, then you are a thief, says the Gita. Sthena eva saha. He is a thief. So you have to, and if you do that consciously, you will get the full benefit of it. And there are so many gradations. First of all, you are forced to do sacrifice. You have to. Okay? But it can become conscious, very, very conscious and with love. Sometimes the conscious also, you may do the sacrifice, but with a little unwillingness. Okay? Then the normal meaning of the word sacrifice comes in English. No? Sacrifice means you are giving something away, but you are regretting. Oh, I have lost something. That's a negative sacrifice. Even that's a sacrifice, but that also is negative. So the real sacrifice, a happy parting is what you have. So that's what he said. Therefore, I read the next sentence. Therefore, all these and many other forms of sacrifice have been extended in the mouth of the Brahman. And it's an image. The mouth of that fire which receives all offerings. Okay. This is also very interesting if you think about it. There, everything comes from the Supreme and goes back into the Supreme. The cyclical movement is also, you can think of it as a sacrifice. Okay. The divine has sacrificed his own consciousness, his own power, his own ananda, and come down to the physical world. But now he has to climb back again there. Okay? So this is a sacrifice. In the mother Surendra said, the sacrifice of the Purusha, but much more, in a much more intense sense, the sacrifice of the Divine Mother. Because the lower Prakriti, Para Prakriti becomes the lower Prakriti. So that's the biggest sacrifice. So you can think of it in that way. See, there is this cyclical movement, and that is also part of the concept of sacrifice. Your body has come from matter. At the end of your life, your body will go back into matter. Your vital, small vital, has come from universal prana. At the end of your life, it will dissolve and go back into universal prana. Exactly. The cyclical movement. It has to come and go. This is the extent, the sacrifice at the lowest level. It's very mechanical, but as it keeps going higher and higher, it becomes more and more conscious, more and more meaningful, more and more spiritual. Giving and receiving. This is something that many businessmen also understand. Particularly the Marwadis do that, because even on their safe where they keep money, on one side they will write Shubh, the auspicious, and on the other side they will write Labha. So there can be no Labha without a Shubha. They both have to be there at the same time. Okay? And in nature, yeah. And in nature, yeah, tell me.
Why the mouth? Why the image of a mouth, not a hand or something?
Yeah, okay. Because if Tarika, you remember, Grasishnu Prabhavishnu cha. These are the two words used in the Gita. Grasishnu Prabhavishnu cha. It is creating and also swallowing everything, because it is disappearing. So when it is swallowing everything, it's a mouth of the thing. It's an image. You are eating with your mouth, no? So it's an image. The divine is creating, but it's also taking everything back again, swallowing. So,
But it can create with hand and take back with hand, no?
that is less of a taking and a giving, no? When you take, can you destroy with your hand? The ultimate is the swallowing up, destroying it.
Once it goes in the mouth, you cannot bring it back. Whereas in the hand, you can still decide also not to take it.
Okay, Pallavi, there is Tarika's answer. It's related to that. The divine is creating and destroying. Divine creating, destroying. As I said just now, the cyclical movement. Your body has been created, and matter is again destroying it and taking it back into itself. So it has gone into the mouth of the matter. So exactly in the same way, everything, cyclical movement. And the two words are, I told you, Grasishnu, Prabhavishnu cha. Prabhavishnu, he is the one who is creating. He is creating. Okay. Prabhava, coming into existence. And Grasishnu, swallowing. Okay. He is swallowing. So that's why the mouth. He is very consistent with the idea.
Ranganath, where is this from? I am not aware about that. The words that you are using, no?
Because you do a search and you'll get it. Or if you want, I'll tell you where it is. If you want immediately also, I can tell you.
Yes, tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll just get the index and I'll tell you. Yes.
Sorry, Google it.
No, I couldn't.
Feeding Rangada.
I couldn't get the word exact. I could not understand the exact word that you are using. That's when.
Yeah. So
Rasishnu.
Give me 2 minutes, I'll tell you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more reason for that mouth is because this swallowing comes from hunger also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Achha. Now, Tarika, the reference is 13, chapter 13, verse 16.
Okay.
Chapter 13, verse 16.
Okay.
Grasishnu, Prabha Vishnu cha. So there is swallowing and a creating and swallowing. So that's why the mouth, okay, of that fire. And if you remember, in the 11th chapter, the Arjuna is seeing the divine, the time, the kala, which is destroying everything. Because Arjuna is very concerned with the destruction of his own family members. So he's telling him that it has already been done. If you look, now you see, and all these Kauravas are stuck in the interstices of the teeth of this mouth. Okay, it's a very frightening scene in the Gita. So it does it in that way. the mouth of that fire which receives all offerings. They are all means. Which is the they? The sacrifices. Okay? Are all means and forms of the one great existence in activity. Means by which the action of the human being can be offered up to that of which his outward existence is a part and with which his inmost self is one. So that is, you can think of it as the Satchidananda, okay, or the third level, the Purushottama. You can think of it in that way also. Of that which is outward existence. Outward existence, your body, mind, life, is a part and with which his inmost self is one. Your soul is one with that, and your outward existence, your body, mind, life, is only a part of it. Okay? They are, who is the they again? The sacrifice. They are all born of work. Karmaja. Okay? They are all born of work. All proceed from and are ordained by the one vast energy of the divine. It's a energy in the universe that is creating and arranging all these things. They proceed from and are ordained by. Ordained means permitted and organized and ordered. Okay, all this is coming from the vast energy of lower Prakriti, okay, Apara Prakriti of the divine, which manifests itself in the universal karma. Karma is all action. Okay? So even everything in the physical world is movement, and that is also karma. The root kri, to do, to move, to go. Okay? And makes all the cosmic activity a progressive offering to the one self and Lord. There you are. The Lord means always the Purushottama, master of sacrifice, and of which the last stage of the human being is self-knowledge and the possession of the divine or Brahmic consciousness. So knowing, thou shalt become free. So you have to get rid of all your lower faculties and slowly, slowly concentrate, and by sacrifice, you will reach the Brahmic consciousness. And what is the Brahmic consciousness? That stable, immutable, infinite, eternal, featureless consciousness. So knowing, thou shalt become free. Who is becoming free from what? The soul is becoming free from the prison house of body, mind, life. Right now, the soul is inside. We don't even know that it is inside us. But when you identify yourself with the soul, then you make an effort to get it free, and then the body, mind, life will continue with its old habits. Okay? But you are free. Now you are watching from above and just enjoying all the fun. You are in complete calm and peace. But the body, mind, life will go on with its old ways. So knowing, thou shalt become free. Verse 32. Chapter 4, verse 32. Okay? We can now go to the next para.
Ranganath, I have one question before that. About the word Purushottama. When we say Purushottama, it is the Lord, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's how is the word coined? Because it is Uttam Purusha.
Yeah,
so is it the human part or is it the divine?
It is both. I understand what you are saying. In the spiritual consciousness, it is the impersonality of the divine that is experienced. When you are in the Brahmic consciousness, nobody is there. You only experience a vastness, a peace. You may get knowledge, but nobody is there. These are all the impersonal aspects of the divine. Okay? But when you go to the third level, in the supramental world, or in the Gita, as you say, the Purushottama, Kshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha, Uttama Purusha. So it is coming from there. So he is both personal as well as impersonal. He is impersonal as well as personal. That is the speciality of the, and that is the reason why those who go to the spiritual levels of consciousness, they don't think that there is a divine. Okay? Even Buddhism says that. There is nobody. These only laws that apply. Impersonality is there everywhere. But if you go to the third level, you will see that that impersonality also is personality. And this is a very interesting question. It will go to a philosophical discussion. But I'm just telling you, I give you a hint, you think about it. Personality and impersonality are really the same thing. Now, just I'll give you one instance and you can think of many instances yourself. Take a huge amount of air. Okay? It is impersonal, it is there everywhere. Okay, agreed? So
Yeah.
take all that air and compress it, compress it, compress it, compress it, compress it, compress it, and put it into a bottle. Okay? Now it has got features. Okay? Now it has got features. So when it is features it has got, it becomes a person. Think of it in that way.
How it has got features? How do you say it has features?
It okay. I put this is very difficult even with images, but I put it in a bottle now. Now it got the shape of the bottle.
Yeah.
It's got heat because when I'm compressing, it develops heat. So, so these are the features that is there. And it's also compressed. That also is a feature. In fact, this truth is there for everything that is impersonal in the physical world. There is a personality behind it. These are the gods in the overmind plane of consciousness. Say water, okay? Vastness and water, okay? There is Varuna. He represents this aspect. Then take, for instance, anything you take, okay? It can be represented by a personality. This, yeah. And this applies even in the physical world. You think about more and more, you will see that both these things always go together. Saguna, Nirguna. Nirguna is the impersonal. And Saguna is the personal aspect with features. And those features depend on you, how you want to picture that impersonality yourself. If you want to see the divine as Vishnu, you will see him as Vishnu. If you want to see him as Mother and Shiva, you will see them like that. If you want to see it as Ganesh, you will see it as Ganesh. Okay, so all this depends on your conception, how you want to see it. So now, yeah, tell me.
One more question. When you said when you unite with the soul, so who is you?
Oh, yeah, that's a very interesting question actually. The ego. See, these are, don't think of it in a very, very gross manner. The ego is what you think you are, no?
Yes.
You think of yourself, that's actually the ego. But slowly, slowly, the ego shifts and goes towards the soul. And when it goes and mixes with the soul, the ego has disappeared. And you become the soul.
So it's not the psychic being who unites with the soul. It's the ego who unites with the soul.
Yeah, because the soul is a psychic being only. The soul is a psychic being, or it is also the self, the Brahmic consciousness. Right now, all of us think we are because of our ego. We identify ourselves with our ego. No? We identify ourselves with our body, mind, life. And that's the ego. The ego is that.
We can also say that you is wherever your self-awareness is stationed right now.
Yes, you can say that. But that self-awareness, when it goes into the spiritual planes of consciousness, the ego disappears. And you become the self, the impersonal self. Yeah. So.
Then Rangada, just one more question from me. Sunki.
Yeah.
Sunki
Yeah.
Rangada. Yeah. So, then as long as we exist, there must be an identification with some consciousness. So without the identification with some sort of consciousness, we can exist. Can you say that way? So yeah, as long as we exist, we there must be some sort of a identification, whether with the ego or whether with the psychic being. Can you say that way?
I didn't exactly follow what you're saying, Sunki, but depending on you are identifying yourself with what? Okay. Can you repeat that question once more? I'll just
Yes, 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 yes. As long as we exist, there must be some sort of identification,
Yes,
whether with ego or with the psychic being.
yes, that's right. So when you are identified with the ego, you are identified with the body mind life. When you are identified with the psychic being, the other identifications disappear. Now you know that the you are the psychic being, and the other things with which you are identifying yourself become instruments. They are separated from you. They become like instruments in your hand. Srenzo says, okay, they are not you anymore.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Got it. I got it.
So anyway, it's 8:35, 8:36 in my on my computer desktop. So we could not read that small para. I was prevented very, very happily by Tarika and Pallavi. Okay, so next time we'll do this one. But there are gradations. This idea of gradations is very important. It really applies everywhere. So you must understand that there is no like a border between two countries. No, there is a gradation. There is a no man's land sometimes. Okay, so you have to go slowly from one to the other. You have to gradually.
Ranganath, that
Yeah,
no man's land is most painful, no?
it depends. At the higher levels, it is not painful, but at the lower levels, it can be dangerous also. But particularly if you go into the vital world, no man's land, that is can be very dangerous. But not from the mental areas. But balance has to be always there. Discrimination and balance. If that is not there, there can be problems. In fact, that is the reason why Sri says that everything in yoga can be dangerous except the psychic being. That's why he always prefers get the psychic being first. And how do you do that? By constant remembrance, by constant devotion, by constant offering yourself. That's why the sacrifice is so important. Once you have the psychic being, you have no responsibility. The psychic being takes care of you. It will never allow you to do something wrong. Never. So that's the safest. That's why in the Sri triple transformation, first get the psychic being out into the front. That you do. How do you do that? By constant thinking of it. And then the second step is climbing up vertically into the Brahmic consciousness. Then there is no danger. But if you try to climb up first and your staircase is not properly built, you are going to fall. So, and building the staircase properly is what is called purification of the being. Okay, you have to purify your vital, you have to purify your mind. Then you are safe. That is the reason why in Raj Yoga it is so systematic. First you have to do yama, then niyama, then you have to do asanas to purify the body, then you have to do the pranayama to purify your vital, and then you come to the mind. But even before the mind, you have to purify the senses. Pratyahar. Pratyahar. Don't feed the senses. Okay. Then finally you come to the mind. Then you are safe. But if you try to climb first, and that's what happened to many people, including Gopi Krishna. Gopi Krishna was a he was a Kashmiri, and he was practicing concentration. After 17 years of concentration, finally there was a descent of power into him. Okay, but he was not prepared. He had not done the purification, so he had to So he had to suffer like anything for 4 or 5 years. Okay? There was burning in the body. He could not eat. All sorts of things happened to him. Okay? And he wrote to Srirando. Gopi Krishna is a very well-known author. Very tantric method and other things also. He has written a lot of books. Okay? A very well-known personality. So he wrote to Srivambu, and Srivambu told him, look, this Kundalini Yoga, I am not an expert. My vision is something else. So I recommend that you go to someone who understands the Kundalini Yoga. He had actually raised this Kundalini Yoga in himself, and he had to suffer because he had not purified himself. So now we have to stop. 8:40. Okay. So psychic being is very, very important in Srivambu's yoga. Okay. And it can be done by devotion, thinking of the divine all the time, and sacrifice. Whatever you do, it's very common in India when you're going to just sit down for eating. Okay. You think of the divine first, offer the food to him, and then start eating. Okay. Au revoir, everybody. Have a nice day.
Nice
Au revoir.
Thank you, Ranganath.
wonderful day.
Okay, au revoir. We'll meet on Tuesday. Sorry.